Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. I'm starting to not fade, but I can feel a little bit of a resistance starting to come up. But we're gonna keep this one short and sweet because I do want to share it, and I don't think this one really needs to be that long anyways. I like to keep them under 20 minutes to begin with, but if you are new to my world, thank you so much for being here. I am honored that you are spending your time with me. If you find any sort of nuggets from these episodes and you want to share that on social media, that would mean the world to me. I would love that so much. And today we're going to talk about overachievers. If you are here having this conversation with me, chances are you resonate as a little bit of an overachiever. Maybe you're a lot of bit of an overachiever. Maybe you pride yourself on being the person who does all the things. You're like, I do it all. I can do it all. I can manage all the things. No problem here. None of that stuff, right? I want to challenge you a little bit here. We as overachievers can have very high expectations for ourselves. Incredibly high. And we believe that everybody could do these things, but a lot of people just have excuses, right? We're like, it's really not that hard. I don't understand why you can't do it. As high achievers, we are wired a bit different. We're a little special kind of crazy. In varying degrees. I always laugh when I say that because a couple of years ago I did a half Ironman and I told people that I was only half crazy. I wasn't fully crazy because I didn't do a full Ironman. And it just makes me chuckle. Anyways, moving on. So when it comes to higher achievers, right, we can start to beat ourselves up when things don't happen as quickly as we want, or we're not moving through something fast enough, or we're not getting the results that we want. There's a number of reasons and there's a number of ways in which we start to kind of diminish ourselves. And I have used this saying for years. I could not tell you where I actually picked it up because it's pretty popular anyways. But when people have asked me, hey, Steph, you've got 4 kids and multiple businesses. How do you handle it all? And my response is always, by the grace of God. Always. Because it is 100% true, but it's also the grace that I give myself. Because I am only human, turns out, right? I am a soul having a human experience, if you want to go that route, right? But there's only so much I can do as me, and that's kind of the point. Because, and I don't want this to come out incorrectly, but these are the words that are coming through, is our human experience, us being here, is meant to be frustrating on some level. We're meant to kind of hit our heads against the wall at some point and be frustrated by our own progress. Because it's in that moment that we actually surrender into and start to realize that we do have a divine connection, that there is nothing impossible in that space. And when you can surrender in and give up the how and the control, and I talked about this on a previous episode, you actually start to work with life a little bit easier. Things become a bit more effortless because you're not trying to force things. You're not trying to make it fit into this little box, right? And the truth is, we're not meant to fit in these little boxes, right? Think of cubicles, right? I just got a really weird image. Right? But like, we're not intended to fit into that box. There's going to be some resistance of us trying to get through it, right? And when we can surrender to it and say, you know what, I don't know how this is going to work, but I know it's going to work, you get the tools that you need to make the thing happen. And I do this with things as simple as road trips with my kids, right? I know that there's a part of me that wants to take over and get to the destination in X amount of time. I actually want to beat the time on the GPS, right? I do. I want to beat the time on the GPS. I want to get home and be like, oh, yes, I beat it by 7 minutes, right? That is, I love that, right? That just happened this past weekend on the way back from a soccer tournament. I beat the GPS by 7 minutes and I was like, yes, got it, right? Now, there are other road trips where I go up and I visit family. We have family in Michigan, we have family in Massachusetts, we have family in Florida. And so when we go on these longer road trips, I have to surrender the time. And I have to be reliant on the timing of things. And these are very different things. Time is masculine, timing is feminine. And the masculine wants to get the thing done in a certain amount of time. Wants to beat the GPS. But on road trips, more about the timing. Because there's going to be a kid that has to go to the bathroom at the worst possible time. And I would have to pep talk myself through these things. I still give myself a little bit of a pep talk. I say a little bit of a prayer before we get on a road trip. And I'll say, God, I don't care what time we get there, as long as we all get there safely and in one piece, right? That's literally my prayer. I don't care how long it takes us to get to X, Y, and Z, as long as we get there safely. And I could probably start saying that prayer over my daily life. I don't care how long it takes for X, Y, and Z. Part of me is cringing over that because I want things to happen when I want things to happen, right? But I'm surrendering how long it takes to achieve this thing because I know that we'll get there safely. I'll learn some things along the way, right? Like, it's on these road trips where we'll stop and get a snack and my kids will get this new toy, usually at Chick-fil-A. We do a lot of Chick-fil-A road trip stops. And Chick-fil-A always has these great like board games that you can do in the car. And also having another epiphany on as to why they're called board games. B-O-A-R-D versus B-O-R-E-D. Anyways, this is where my mind is at right now. We're just bouncing all over the place. You're just welcome. So it is about surrendering that. I talked about that on the previous episode. Just surrendering into it and just giving yourself the grace for it to happen exactly when it's supposed to happen. We don't really know. And I said, like, if you woke up tomorrow, I said this on the last episode, I believe, they're kind of blurring together now. This is why I don't do 3 in a row typically. If you woke up tomorrow and you had a book of all the things that were supposed to happen in the rest of your life, there'd be no point in living it because you already knew. And I'm going to rein it back in here because I started with the grace for the high achievers. Okay, so you deserve grace. This is your first time here in this body, with this experience, with these things, with this environment. It is your first time. Would you give your kids a whole bunch of crap if they failed at something the first time? If they didn't make it work beautifully the first time? Would you yell and scream at them? I hope not. If you do, we should probably have a conversation. Actually, if you yell and scream at your kids about that, I probably don't want to have a conversation with you. just being honest. Actually, you know what? No, I would love to have a conversation with you because I'd be interested to see what that looked like, and then I'd pick you up and I'd put you in a different perspective. And then maybe you wouldn't yell and scream at your kids for not doing it right the first time. Right? That is something that I have tried to teach and instill, because it can be frustrating. But as if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. Doesn't mean you can't learn it. I'm going down a bunch of rabbit trails. I'm going to sign off here, I think. So, I've shared with you a lot of interworkings of where my brain is going and all the little rabbit trails, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you got a little bit of chuckle about it and laughed about it, because I certainly found it entertaining. There's also a different kind of energy that's buzzing inside of me right now, and I'm like, you know what, we need to just... It is. I can't even. All right, so high achievers, long story short, give yourself a little bit of grace, because the truth is we probably give it to a lot of other people, but oftentimes we need it the most ourselves, because we're not going to be perfect at everything the first time, but it's actually the mistakes in which you learn something, and that's a beautiful space to be. So here's two beautiful messes. It's how we learn to cook, right? So I'm sending you a whole lot of love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.